The film begins by showing a church support group composed of people who help each other overcome personal struggles. At that time, a woman named Caitlin is describing her romantic relationship with a man named Mitch, who is extremely toxic. Among the members, there is also a man who feels trapped in a toxic situation, but his problem lies between him and his boss. He is Robert Montague Renfield, an individual who has served Dracula for many years. Renfield explains how he first met Dracula and eventually received immortality and superhuman abilities, simply by consuming insects. As a devoted servant, Renfield was once willing to rescue Dracula when he was captured by a priest. After that fateful meeting, Renfield goes straight to confront Mitch, intending to make him Dracula's dinner. As it turns out, Mitch and a few of his associates happen to be involved in distributing illegal substances, and at that moment, they are also being pursued by a certain individual. His name is Teddy Lobo, because he has discovered that Mitch and his group stole several packages of those substances. The hitman Teddy sends then notices Renfield on the premises, leading to a deadly fight. In that fight, the hired enforcer manages to slash Renfield's abdomen, which Renfield answers with a powerful blow, so forceful that it sends the man's head flying. Terrified by this spectacle, Teddy instantly flees and, in his panic, drives straight through a police checkpoint. Realizing there are suspicious packages in his vehicle, Teddy tries to escape, but he is successfully stopped by a police officer named Rebecca. Around the same time, Renfield returns to the secret underground chamber serving as Dracula's current refuge. He arrives with the hitman's body, along with Mitch and the other two associates, offering them as a meal for Dracula. Unfortunately, Dracula remarks that the remains of these wrongdoers simply are not enough. After everything he has been through, Dracula is significantly weaker and requires the blood of someone pure and kind-hearted. Of course, that is extremely difficult for Renfield to provide. He even attempts to persuade Dracula to end all of this and start a new, better life. Dracula then cuts away the bandage covering Renfield's stomach wound, where only a drop of Dracula's blood instantly heals Renfield's injury. Such is Dracula's influence over Renfield's life. He is the one who has bestowed everything upon Renfield, causing Renfield to feel obligated to continue serving him. At the police station, Teddy is released by an aide working for his mother, Bella Francesca Lobo, because Bella Francesca has connections with the head of the police department. Naturally, Rebecca is disgusted, since the Lobo family always manages to walk free, including during the incident in which Rebecca's father lost his life in the line of duty while attempting to apprehend Teddy. Later that night, Renfield sets out to find fresh sustenance for Dracula at Café Mulattes. Ironically, Café Mulattes is indeed crowded with people just like those Dracula wants. At the very same time, Rebecca arrives at that cafe to investigate a recent murder case. Not long after, Teddy and several of his henchmen show up. Disguised by masks and armed to the teeth, they surround everyone in the place, focusing mainly on Rebecca. Teddy proceeds to torment Rebecca psychologically by insulting her late father, calling him a coward who never stood a chance against the Lobo family. Now Teddy feels it is his turn to teach Rebecca the same lesson. Teddy's behavior so infuriates Renfield that, even though he initially wants no involvement, he ends up consuming a bug and taking action. Together, Renfield and Rebecca fight off all of Teddy's men, while Teddy chooses to flee. After violently finishing off every one of Teddy's henchmen, Rebecca expresses her gratitude to Renfield, as do all the terrified cafe patrons who feel they have been saved. Receiving such praise for the first time makes Renfield feel strange, yet he likes this feeling, motivating him to seek true repentance. With guidance from his church group friends, Renfield firmly resolves to end his toxic bond with Dracula and begin a new life as a normal person. He moves into a new apartment and slightly adjusts his appearance, opting for a tidier, more vibrant style. Back at home, Teddy informs his mother about the incident at Café Mulattes. They begin tracking Renfield's whereabouts, preparing to eliminate him. In short, Teddy and his men arrive at Dracula's lair, since Renfield frequently visits that location. Dracula quickly dispatches them all, but upon attempting to kill Teddy, he learns that Teddy is a genuinely wicked individual, which leads Dracula to feel they are on the same side. Moreover, Teddy also reports that Renfield, who should be acting as Dracula's servant, is now preoccupied with being a so-called good person. Immediately, Dracula marches off to Renfield's apartment. He is deeply hurt, believing Renfield has betrayed him, even though he has given Renfield extraordinary benefits for so many decades. Now Renfield is behaving as if he is merely a victim, when from Dracula's perspective, Renfield was the one who chose this path from the very beginning. Unable to endure Dracula's words any longer, Renfield shows him a booklet from his support group and starts reading lines meant to enlighten the vampire. Without realizing it, though, this only turns Renfield's beloved group into a new target. Exactly the kind of people Dracula is after. Reacting swiftly, Renfield races to warn his group members to leave right away. Tragically, it is already too late, because Dracula arrives to confront them. Within seconds, Dracula throws Renfield aside and ends the lives of every member in the group. Renfield feels horribly guilty for what has happened to all of them. If only he had obeyed Dracula's orders, none of this would have fallen upon his companions. Grief-stricken, Renfield is then suddenly approached by Rebecca and her fellow officer, who show up and promptly take him into custody. However, just as Rebecca is about to bring Renfield to the police station, the Lobo family's group intercepts her because Bella Francesca Lobo needs Renfield to track down Teddy. Feeling something is amiss, Rebecca chooses to escape the scene alongside Renfield. The following morning, Rebecca wakes up with an injury to her hand. Renfield greets her, yet she remains uneasy around him, convinced that he is a dangerous individual. Even so, she cannot simply hand him over to the police. As a result, Rebecca arranges a meeting with her sister Kate, who also works in law enforcement, at a nearby cafe. Just before they leave, Rebecca and Renfield once again face opposition from several officers and Bella Francesca's subordinates. Confronted by so many adversaries, Renfield sees only one solution: to tap into his powers. Precisely at that moment, Bella Francesca's people arrive, but they are swiftly overpowered by Renfield and Rebecca. Observing the scene, Bella Francesca and her associates are astonished by Renfield's capabilities. That tense standoff concludes with a brief, softer moment when Rebecca reaches for Renfield's hand and they walk away together. Back at her base, Bella Francesca is stunned to see Teddy return, as he abruptly eliminates one of her own henchmen. It becomes clear that Teddy has agreed to serve Dracula, thereby acquiring the same advantages Renfield possesses. Dracula's offer of collaboration is eagerly welcomed by Bella Francesca, given that they share a common goal. To lure Renfield and Rebecca, they first take Kate hostage. The plan succeeds because Rebecca is willing to surrender herself at the Lobo headquarters, so long as her sister's safety is guaranteed. Naturally, she and Renfield do not arrive empty-handed. They prepare various supplies in advance, including the items needed to create a protective circle. In short order, they reach the Lobo stronghold and are greeted by Teddy, joined by several others who have likewise become Dracula's subordinates. Despite facing a large number of opponents, Rebecca and Renfield refuse to give up. Renfield confronts Teddy directly and tells Rebecca to go rescue Chris. During the confrontation, Renfield grows weaker after sustaining multiple wounds. However, through his determination, he ultimately overcomes Teddy. Meanwhile, inside a closed-off chamber, Rebecca comes face-to-face with Dracula, who shows her Kate in a dire condition. Dracula explains that Kate's life can only be saved by using a special type of blood he possesses. Exploiting this fact, Dracula offers Rebecca a bargain. If she becomes his servant, Kate will live. Renfield arrives, trying to stop her from making that choice. Yet Rebecca, unwilling to lose someone dear to her again, agrees to Dracula's proposal. She approaches him and presses a switch that opens a large window, causing sunlight to pour in and harm Dracula. Unfortunately, he manages to slip away before it can destroy him. Renfield and Rebecca end up cornered by Dracula in an underground space. When Rebecca is about to be harmed, she fires at Dracula's leg, and some of his blood spills onto Renfield, instantly restoring him. This moment prompts Renfield to recall the support group's words, reminding him that he can stand up to Dracula. Emboldened, Renfield rises and attacks Dracula persistently until he is finally immobilized inside a protective circle Rebecca creates using a prohibited powder. They then damage Dracula's physical form, turning it into a cement-like mass and letting it dissolve away through a disposal system. In addition, they use some of Dracula's blood to restore Kate as well as all the members of the support group, bringing them safely back to health. And that is where the film draws to a close. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.